Good afternoon po mga kababayan, ma'am sir. This is Jam, the Filipino channel ng inyong pong likod. So today is February 4, 2026 at tayo ngayon ay pupunta dito yan sa may Quezon City General Hospital. Dito sa Seminary Road, Bahay Turo, Project 8, Quezon City. At dadalhin po natin sa may East Avenue Medical Center. Sa may East Avenue po yan, Central Diliman, Quezon City. Ayan, magbabalik po tayo mamaya unti. Makinig tayo ng mga nagbabagong balita at mga talakayan. Ano po? Ayan, disclaimer lamang kung content mo natin ay kalsada, hindi ang passenger.
Government-owned and controlled corporation. And PhilHealth is clearly a government-owned and controlled corporation. So they are valid. And so therefore, you cannot question their act. It is now declared constitutional. Now, it is also the right of the Supreme Court to have it returned. But there is no responsibility of that. In that case, if we extend that, the President, in releasing all of those that have been approved by law, there's no accountability. We are citing Pimentel as a judicial justification of your complaint. It cannot be, because the doctrine of every fact follows. And that is why we have what we have. That's why the case against, the personal case against Lecto will not prosper, because of the doctrine of every fact. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we will move to the next speaker, the Honorable Suwa.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, nandito pa lamang po tayo sa second half of the trial of public trust, abuse of discretionary power over unprogrammed appropriation. At kanina nga po, nabanggit na ito pong charge ay matatagpuan po sa page 23, paragraph 96. Sabi po dito, Respondent President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos betrayed public trust by
Deputy Speaker Guerrero wishes to raise a question. At 2024 na binabanggit ito sa complaint, sinasabi po doon ay ang paggamit ng unprogrammed appropriation ay magiging alinsunod sa Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6 ng Administrative Code. So may explicit reference po sa special provision ng unprogrammed appropriation ito sa provision na ito. At ang sinasabi po ron na expenditures from lump sum appropriation, ibig sabihin, sa GAA mismo, sinasabi na ang unprogrammed appropriation ay isang tipo ng lump sum appropriation na covered ng provision na ito. At ang sabi ay expenditures from lump sum appropriation authorized for any purpose or for any department, office, or agency in any annual General Appropriations Act shall be made in accordance with the special budget be approved by the President. So yun po yung proseso na tinatakda. So kung meron pong
Madam Chair, if I may,
unprogrammed appropriation, kailangan
please
gumawa.
let the Honorable Pino finish his
Kailangan
answer.
gumawa ang kinauukulang ahensya na covered nung purpose na yon, authorized, ay nagumawa ng special budget at ito ay isusumiti sa Presidente para sa kanyang approval. Sa approval lamang ng Presidente, maaaring gastusin ang unprogrammed appropriation. So, Presidente po ang may sole and exclusive na kapangyarihan at discretion kung ano ang maaari at hindi maaaring paggamitan ng unprogrammed appropriation.
Madam Chair,
The
let me
Honorable
go
DS,
back
please.
to the answers of the Honorable Pino. Balikan po natin. While it is true that you cited the provision in the General Appropriations Act, at ang pagkakaintindi mo ay it's the sole prerogative of the President, let us look at the actual process. That's why I was trying to interrupt earlier, and apologies for that. Balikan natin. Unang-una, saan ba nanggagaling yung paglista ng unprogrammed appropriations? If the good sponsor can directly answer the specific agency or the specific agencies.
Honorable Tino.
Yung step 1.
Depende po sa purposes na nakasaad sa unprogrammed appropriation. Kung gusto nyo po, pwede nating tignan
Yeah.
ang
With due
mga
courtesy
special
to the Honorable
provision.
Tino, if I may,
At
balik
kung-
tayo dun sa
tutuloy ko lang po.
proseso.
At kung ang purpose na tinutukoy katulad sa 2024 ay yung tinatawag na CPAT, which covers infrastructure program.
Yeah. Madam Chair,
Dadaan, ang
Honorable
DPWH
please
po ang
allow Honorable
magpe-prepare.
Tino to finish the answer.
DPWH po, ang secretary ng DPWH ang magpe-prepare ng special budget.
Okay. Madam Chair, if I may, with due
Honorable
courtesy to my colleague, can we answer direct to the point? Kasi gusto kong i-establish yung proseso so that I can be guided on whether there is sufficient in substance or not. Let's go back to the process. Ang tanungan natin, where does it emanate? And if I get it correctly from your answer, it emanates from the department. Is that right, Madam Chair? Honorable Senior.
That is correct.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, itong listahan ng unprogrammed appropriations, lahat na ito ay nanggagaling sa kanya-kanyang departamento. Is that correct, Madam Chair? After the department would pencil that in, saan po siya napupunta, Madam Chair? Honorable Senior?
Madam Chair, dadaan ito sa DPM.
Okay. And in the process of going to the Department of Budget and Management, who defends the proposed list of unprogrammed appropriations, Madam Chair? Honorable
Mas maganda, Madam Chair, na tanungin ang mga pinauukulan dito, pero sasagot ko batay sa aking nalalaman. At point of order, Madam Chair. Ito. Sorry,
There's a point of order.
Madam Chair.
SPML Lawrence Defense Lawrence recommends.
Let's reinstate our original rule that the members will have their own manifestations. And if ever we find this to be sufficient in substance, then we can exchange interrogation. But at this point, let's go back to our earlier rule yesterday. We can say whatever we have to say and let our individual conscience assess whether the allegations in the recital of facts constitutes an impeachable offense. So we don't have to argue back and forth.
We allow the sponsors or the endorsers to answer so long as they want. And if the speakers or the members are not willing to consider the answers, then the speakers are advised to do their manifestation by way of a speech or straight manifestation instead of raising questions. Would you like to answer?
Yes, Madam Speaker, and in consideration of the manifestation of the Honorable Senior Deputy Majority Leader, isang sagot na lang po. Basta malinaw po sa proseso na itinatakda ng batas na magkagaling sa departamento ang proposal for as long as authorized under the purposes of the unprogrammed appropriations for that year. Tapos, daan sa TBM, pero ultimately, at ito po ang pinaka-importante, ang autorisasyon ng paggamit sa unprogrammed appropriation ay sa Presidente. Ang ibig din sabihin nito, meron din siyang kapangyarihan, meron siyang kapangyarihan mag-authorize, meron din siyang kapangyarihan hindi mag-authorize. At yun po ang isang batayan na sinasabi natin kung bakit inabuso niya ang kapangyarihan ito. Kaya po, dislayal of activity.
Madam Chair. Honorable Garin. Thank you very much, distinguished colleague, for that response. The reason why I asked that is that I wanted to be clarified because based on the complaint, it stated and it appears, especially during the initial answers of our distinguished sponsor, tila ang naipapalabas na ang presidente ang may diskresyon or may kapangyarihan at pumili kung ano ang mapupunduhan. But contrary to what I am hearing now, based on the direct answers of our distinguished colleagues, the unprogrammed appropriations starts with a proposal from each department, duly vetted by the DBM, defended by the proponent, and these are the cabinet secretaries or their alter egos who are the undersecretaries. And once approved, these are included in the NEP, the National Expenditure Program. After that, it is forwarded to Congress and Senate. Kung meron mang mga dinagdag, inawas sa sinalitan, this is being done because of the budget deliberations that happen between the legislative bodies and the executive offices, meaning each department. Moving forward, Madam Chair, and just to manifest, sa pagkakaintindi ko in the budget process, once the General Appropriations Act is approved, there is a list of unprogrammed appropriations, meaning it will be funded once by fondo, by savings, or by loan. And as to my understanding, it is presumed that the Department of Budget and Management follows the chronology of prioritization